Hello. On this episode of the Inventive Marketing Club, I'm going to be looking at using ChatGPT for marketing. Now, this is part two of a two-part series on using AI in business. Part one was all about what AI is. In this one, I'm going to look at using AI, really. Specifically, I'm going to look at ChatGPT from OpenAI, but I'm also going to have a little look at Canva as well, and just basically go through a little walkthrough online. So let's just jump right in. So let's start the first one. Something quite straightforward I often want to do is to summarize things from a lot of copy. Now, I've got, when I first ran this workshop, we had an Eventbrite listing for it. So here it is, it's ended now, but if I go and view the details, we can see the original details for this particular event. Now, if you wanted to promote this event, what you could do is, if you weren't the person who'd written this event, you would have to read through, understand what's going on, when the event is, and maybe some of the key points about the event, and then summarize those as a series of bullet points, which can be then used to promote it on social media. But because we've got AI, it can do that for us. So what I'm going to do is just go to my ChatGPT window here. I'm actually subscribed to ChatGPT, so I can use their newer version 4. But for this, I'm just going to use the free version, 3.5 here. So I'm going to put in, copy and paste in a prompt. And a prompt is what you use to ask the AI to do something. So what I've put in at the bottom as my prompt is create 5 social media posts from the following event text, an introduction to AI for small business owners. And then I'm actually going to copy that. So let's just arbitrarily copy this. In fact, I probably don't want that. Let's have this here. Come on, just copy that to the top. We'll put the date and time, and in fact, we'll even have that in there as well. I'll just copy it over here. That's my placeholder for it. So I was going to put speech marks in just to delineate that copy. So I've just chucked it in, no formatting whatsoever. And let's just send that to ChatGPT and see what it comes back with. It's coming back pretty quickly. It's coming up with 5 different social media, or 5 different posts, or 5 different bits of text, which is quite useful. Because it's social media, it's actually adding in some hashtags, which we might want to use as well, which is quite cool. Let's read out the first one. Space Rocket Emergency, exciting news. Join us for an introduction to AI for small business owners workshop, part of the marketing workshop collection. Discover how AI can supercharge your business from chatbots to content creation. Okay, I mean, that's pretty good. It may not be exactly what you want, but in that case, you can refine it. You can just tweak that copy. But it would have saved a lot of time having to read through. Key thing you need to be careful of, though, is while the AI ChatGPT has taken in that content, you've got to just actually validate to make sure those are the correct dates and times and workshop details. But it certainly has sped things up a little bit. Let's take a different tack, and I'm just going to start a new chat for this. What happens if we're a new business and we want a marketing strategy? Maybe you're not ready to work with a consultant like us, so we just need to start going and just start the business, generate some revenue, and get things moving. So maybe I just need a little help doing that. I could read blog posts, I could watch videos, listen to podcasts, but maybe I could ask ChatGPT to help me. So let's give that a go. So I'm going to put in a pre-written prompt I've got here, which is basically to create a 3-month marketing strategy to promote a new dog sitting service in Bath. So let's see what it comes up with there. So first of all, we've got month 1, pre-launch, preparation and awareness. We've got some actions that we can achieve there. Month 2, launch and local promotion. So some local SEO. I'd probably want to do that a little bit before, but that's fine. It's talking about all the right things, customer reviews and testimonials. And then sustaining it, so it's sort of an ongoing maintenance, is some paid advertising, community engagement, referral program, email marketing. I mean, these are quite common things that I might recommend. They're not necessarily specific exactly to your business, but it's going to be a bit more specific than general articles that you're reading. So that's pretty good. But let's take that a step further and say we need to produce a website for this and we just need a bit of help. Maybe I can get it to write that content for me. So I put my prompt in here just underneath. And what's quite useful is if you want more context, if you want to keep the same context, you can keep the same chat going, so that it kind of remembers what you've put in before. So it's going to keep those related. If you've got something completely different, I would start a new chat. Otherwise, it might get confused a little bit. So let's try another one here. So this is me. I want you to write a homepage content outline targeting the keyword dog sitter bath for this very same company that we're talking about here. And this is what it's done. It's given me the content outline. I start with an introduction, then talk about the company, talk about services, why, once people are interested, where we work, booking information, and so on. You can see everything on screen there. Obviously, that's a lot for a homepage. You might well be able to fit all that on initially, but you may want to stretch that out to some other pages, maybe having pricing, FAQs, and contact on its own page. But it's a really good way of structuring it. It hasn't written the content for you, but it's put a lot of that content together. What we could do is I could actually just switch over to ChatGPT 4. I'm just going to experiment with this. And what I'm going to do is just run those same prompts again very quickly, because the little experiment, so ChatGPT 4, while it's doing this, is a newer engine that has been trained on more recent and bigger amounts of data. And what I'm going to experiment with here, it's taking a bit of time, which is frustrating. What I'm going to experiment with here is whether it can actually write me text code, which I can just copy and paste straight into a WordPress site. We might have to leave that running in the background for a bit. But that's the aim. So if I had a WordPress site, which I've set up with a company, I should, in theory, be able to copy and paste that code directly in. I'm just going to stop it right there. Hopefully it will have enough context. I'm going to write the next bit. So next, write my outline. And then once I've given it a bit of time just to get some of that, I will then put in my next prompt. So I'll read that out while we're waiting. So the next prompt is, based on the website outline above, so what it's creating now, create a WordPress Gutenberg block syntax for the homepage. Now I try to be quite specific because I know what I want out of it. And WordPress Gutenberg is the name for the text and image and blocks that are used within WordPress. And hopefully I can get it to write it in a format where I can just copy and paste it. So that's finishing off. Brilliant. So this final one. And the reason I've done this for ChatGPT 4 is when I was experimenting with this before, I found that ChatGPT 3.5 didn't really understand what WordPress Gutenberg was, so it couldn't do this for me. But unfortunately, you can only get this if you've got a paid account, which is around $20 a month. So here we go. It's actually, this is the interesting thing about this ChatGPT and any AI system, really. It's never going to generate you the same content each time. So you do want to make sure you save things or copy them out when you need them. But it's interesting to see that it's actually showing up. It gave me the code in one block. It's actually giving me in separate blocks. However, if I just look at these sections here, it does tend to be giving me these comments, which are WordPress Gutenberg code. So I, in theory, can just copy that and paste it directly into my WordPress website in code. So that looks to be working. So that's quite useful if you're already quite familiar with WordPress. This can be a really good way of just getting that content in pretty quickly. And it's actually put some useful text in there for me just to pop straight in. So I don't have time to go through this and actually see how that looks as a website, but it's definitely worth experimenting with. I'm going to stop that. Let's go and start a new chat in 3.5 again. So carrying on with the theme of websites, I just wanted to show that it can go a little further than just text. it can actually do code as well. So for this, it's perhaps a little late now to after Christmas, but I thought it would be quite fun. My prompt is going to be to write JavaScript code to make a countdown Christmas widget for a website. So let's see what works here. So it's done it pretty quickly. I've already got this prepared in the background. So I'm going to copy this code and just paste it into a waiting HTML file. And then we'll just open it up. And there we are. It's a good countdown. It's not very interesting countdown, but it is doing it. Obviously, it's a long time. We've got a whole year to wait now. So let's make that look a little prettier. I'm going to add some CSS styling. We do have a workshop all about HTML and CSS. I can't remember the name of it now, but I will make sure it's in the notes. But it dives into detail about HTML hacks and how you can just do some simple things to make things look nice or just tweak your website with just a little knowledge of HTML and CSS. And so CSS is all about the styling. It's all about what it looks like. So I'm going to add some CSS styling to make it look festive with red and green colors. So let's see what happens. It's going to write that code out. I'm going to copy and paste it in to see what happens. Okay, that's done. So copy. Well, there's no green in there, but it did work. If I were likely to run that again, it's going to do some different code output, and we're going to get a different idea, different style there. But you can see what it's actually able to interpret and create code that does work. Finally, I'm going to make this into a WordPress shortcode, so we can basically just add it anywhere we like. For those who aren't familiar, a WordPress shortcode is a really useful way of having a bit of code hived off to one side in WordPress so you don't see it, but the shortcode then allows you to get that code to run wherever you put this bit of text. So I'm going to place that here. So this is, my prompt is to make this. So I'm not being specific, I'm referring to the previous thing. Make this into a WordPress shortcode so I can add it in line with other text. Now, let's see if this works. I'm not going to test this for you, but I'm just going to quickly read down and see if that's going to work for us. So we first create a function. It's going through hopefully some of the similar code that we had up here. It certainly looks similar. And it's going to output the text. Doesn't look like it's doing it as JavaScript, but that might work. It's certainly going to output the time, and then this is the bit that actually makes it into a shortcode. So that kind of works, and it's showing us how we might use it as well. So that's good. It just shows you probably need a little bit of refinement on that. Just before I move off this and move on to Canva, just to finish off, what I want to do is just give you a few tips and just talk about some things that are really quite important when you're looking at ChatGPT. And that is to basically, I found you get the best results talking to it as if it's a person, not trying to overly think too much about it, but be specific. Certainly where specificity matters, be specific. Because unless it's got a lot of context, which is it can have, you can build it in certainly with a paid account. It's better to be specific. Try things out, experiment. If you don't get what you want to begin with, try something else, and always review the output because it doesn't know if it's correct. Only you will know that. So do check everything. Let's finish off with a pretty design for our dog sitting business. So I'm going to move over to Canva, and this has an AI image generator in it. So we're going to use that to generate our logo. So first of all, I'm going to create a new design. We're going to do it for an Instagram post, so it's going to be square. Wait for that to load up. Now I'm using I'm using the paid account of Canva. I can't actually remember if you can do this in the free account, but it might be worth a try. We go over to apps, and in here you can actually load in the DALL-E app. And if you remember from the previous episode, DALL-E is OpenAI's image generator, or we can add in the Magic Media app, which is Canva's app, which I'm going to use. So I'm just going to open that. As it is a little recent, I'm going to put my prompt in here. Missed off this. So I want a logo for a dog sitting service, including the text, good boy. We want it to be square and playful. Go here, try and find playful. There we go. Generate image. Let's do the same thing in OpenAI as well. So I'm going to go over to ChatGPT 4, which allows us to generate images. I'm going to do the same thing again. So dog sitting with an animated wagging tail, playful illustration style. Let's see if that works. So leave that, let's let that create. We'll go back to Canva, have a look at this. So it's given us a few selections. So we've got this one here, which is quite interesting. Goo boy. We've got this one. Dog boy, and dog boy. So all quite funny, but you don't need to use all of that. What you could do is say, actually, I really like the dog, so I'm just going to take that and the colors, and then you can just change the text yourself. You can't change it in this image. You need to actually wipe it off and put new text on. Or what you can do, and I recommend you do this, you work with an illustrator or graphic artist and say, this is kind of what I was going for. Can you make that into a proper logo for me? Can you make that illustrated? But that could work for us. Let's go back and have a look at the one in Dali. Has it finished it yet? Okay, the playful illustration of a dog sitting with its tail animatedly wagging. Style captured dog's joy and energy. Okay, actually, I mean, it's a nice illustration, but it's not quite the same as what we get in Canva. These actually look like. So actually, let's try this as well. Just going to see if we actually change the prompt so it's very similar to the previous one. Okay, try again. What you can do, and I'm just going to show you an example in here, is we can actually refine it as well. I'll just while we're waiting, I'll just show you how we'd refine it in Canva. If I like this particular logo, what I can do is just click on the ... and go generate more like this, and it's going to take that idea as an input to generate more images. So let's leave that one up there. What I do like about the way Canva works is all of these images are then stored in your library. So if you ever want to go back to them, you can do. ChatGPT's done. See what is it going to come? It's going to show us the logo, or do we have to wait for it? There we are. That's pretty good. Not quite as colourful as the Canva one. I'm going to just, yeah, I think it's good. I actually prefer the Canva one. I might just have a bit of fun. Let's make the dog smile and wink. So again, I'm trying to talk to it as if it's a person. Let's leave that generating while we go back. Sorry about the flipping. It's just we have to wait. And we've got a couple of the ones here. They're all very, very similar. Quite like that one, actually. That one looks nice. Or this one. Here's a good one. His tongue is a bit weird in that first one. I think that represents it well. Yeah, that's good. Nice. Obviously, the text is still a bit funny. Just before we finish, let's go back, see what it's come up with. Is the dog smiling, winking? It is. That looks creepy. Good body. How weird. But you can see it's not perfect. It will only get better. But I'd say this is a really good way of just generating some quick ideas, which then you can either improve upon yourself, take them into a graphic program, or give them to an illustrator as a sort of an initial guide to what you want. I think that's all I got time for in this particular one, but hopefully that's given, if you haven't used ChatGPT or AI image generation in Canva before, then you might want to give it a go. It certainly is it's fun, it's useful, and come up with some interesting things. But for now, thank you very much for watching this episode of the Inventive Marketing Club. You can learn more, find great episodes, or you can join us at ratherinventive.com/club. Bye for now.